ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च तं सागरजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामो राम रामो हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome all of you all for our weekly Gita class. So we are continuing a discussion on the second chapter, and this theme that we are discussing, this section is the topic of the soul, the various characteristics of the soul. So last time we had started to discuss text 17. We just started the purport. So we'll continue that text today. Verses like this: Avinashi tu tadviddi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So, what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is telling that that which pervades the entire body. So, the soul, we had been discussing this last week, that the soul is situated in the region of the heart, but it pervades the entire body. Just like the sun is situated in one part of the universe, but the rays of the sun is there everywhere. So similarly, consciousness of the soul is spread everywhere, and no one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So Krishna is telling this to Arjuna because Arjuna is worried what will happen to my grandfather Bhishma, my Guru Drona. So Krishna is saying, don't worry, no one can destroy their soul. The soul is indestructible. So we had started to discuss the purport, little long elaborate purport and a little technical purport, but these are very important points to understand. Such detailed information of the soul is only available in Gita, and Srila Prabhupada has made this topic very interesting and very simple for us to understand. So Srila Prabhupada explains that this verse more clearly explains the nature of the soul. So what is the nature of the soul? The nature of the soul is consciousness. What is the symptom of the soul? Consciousness. So we were discussing this last week also. What is the difference between a living object and an non-living object? The difference is in the living object, consciousness is there. Thinking, feeling, willing is there. But in a non-living object, there is no consciousness. This laptop, if I hit this laptop, there is no sensation of pain and pleasure. But as long as the soul is there in the body experiences pain and pleasure. But if the soul leaves the body, this body also will not experience pain and pleasure because the soul has left. So consciousness is the symptom of the soul. And what is the size of the soul? The Prabhupada quotes Shvetashwara Upanishad, Balagra Shatabhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya cha Bhago Jiva sa Vigyeya sa Chantyaya Kalpate. So when the upper portion of the hair is divided into 1,000 parts, and that 1,000 part is divided into another 1,000 part, that is the measurement of the soul. That means 1/10,000 the tip of the hair. And Srila Prabhupada quotes another verse. You all can keep yourselves muted. Prabhupada quotes another verse. Keshara shatabhasya shatamsha sadrishatmaka jiva sukshma swarupoyam sankyatito hi chitkana. So the translation is, there are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms. Just like how many particles are there in the sun rays? Can anyone count? Unlimited particles in the sun rays. So similarly, how many spirit souls are there? The spiritual atoms, unlimited spiritual atoms, innumerable, which are the size of 10,000 the tip of the hair. And Srila Prabhupada actually writes that the individual soul is smaller than material atoms. We know the atom, we study in science, made of electrons, protons, neutrons. The soul is actually smaller than that. That is the size of the soul. And this small spark within our body animates the entire body. So this small spark animates our entire body. Can you imagine the power of the soul? One little spark in the body animates the entire body. And this spark is the same in a human being, in an elephant, in a whale, the same size. That is the power of the soul. And Srila Prabhupada explains that the soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. So one cannot understand the soul, one cannot see the soul with one's own eyes or some instrument. Only by purifying our intelligence one can understand. So Srila Prabhupada also quotes saying that, this is a verse from the Mundaka Upanishad, which explains that the atomic soul floats in 5 kinds of air. 5 kinds of air in which the soul floats. Okay, let me go back. There is one slide, if I can get it. This is the slide. Look at this slide. The soul is there and the subtle body is there. What is the subtle body made of? Subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, ego. And then there is prana, life air. There are 5 kinds of life air: prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana. So the soul floats in this life air. So in our body, everything is connected. The soul and matter are gone mixed. There is a mix-up that has happened. Intertwingling, intermixing, right? So that's why the soul is connected to the subtle body, and the subtle body is connected through the gross body through the prana, life air. So therefore, the prana, the subtle body, mind, is also connected to prana. That's why when you do pranayam, which is just breathing, your mind also becomes peaceful. Why? Because there is a connection between life air and the mind. Correct? That's how it is explained. So why I showed you this slide is because Prabhupada explains in this verse. Let me come back to this verse. Prabhupada explains in this verse how the atomic soul is floating in 5 kinds of air. And when the soul is purified from the contamination of 5 kinds of air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. So that means when the soul is purified, we can actually understand or perceive the spiritual entity. That means we need to purify our consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada also explains that where is the soul situated? So he's explaining different aspects of the soul. One aspect is the symptom of the soul. What is the symptom of the soul? Anyone? What is the symptom of the soul?
Consciousness.
Correct.
Consciousness.
Correct. Consciousness. Very good. The size of the soul is 1/10,000 the tip of the hair. Okay. Now, where is the soul situated? It is said that the soul is situated in the region of the heart, somewhere in the region of the heart. But even though the soul is situated there, it spreads its influence everywhere. How? Through the consciousness, it is spread everywhere. And Srila Prabhupada explains that even the scientists agree to this principle that how our heart is the seat of life, right? So even the scientists agree that RBCs, the red blood corpuscles, which are there from the lung. They are sent to the heart, and heart pumps it everywhere. So the RBCs are actually the life carrying force. And where is that force coming from? Where is that force for the heart to function, for all this thing to happen? That is coming from the soul. So even though medical science admits the importance of RBCs, it cannot ascertain the energy of the soul. So there is something that science cannot reach. That's why you need a different set of science, which is spiritual science, where the area where the limitation of science ends, that is where the spiritual science starts. So Krishna explains here this soul is actually the active ingredient. And we, as we have already discussed, like the sun is situated in one place in the universe and spreads its light everywhere. Similarly, the soul situated in the region of the heart, it's spreading consciousness all over. And by the purpose of Hatha Yoga or the purpose of any kind of yoga is ultimately to understand this spirit soul. That's why the path of spirituality is called the path of self-realization. To understand that I am not the body, I am spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit. And what is the nature of the spirit? We are all fragments of that Supreme Lord. Right? So that is the nature of that spirit. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada has touched various aspects. We saw how consciousness is a symptom of the soul. We saw the size of the soul, 1/10,000 the tip of the hair. We saw where the soul is situated in the region of the heart. How it is situated, it is floating in 5 kinds of air, right? And we also saw what is the soul. Basically, the soul is a spiritual entity, part of the Supreme Lord. That is why it has power. So that's what Srila Prabhupada has explained in this verse, text 17. We'll go to text 18. Text 18 is also a very interesting verse. Antavanta ime deha nityasyukta sharirina anashino prameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. The material body, we'll read the word to word. Antavanta, perishable. Ime, all these. Deha, material bodies. Nityasya, eternal in existence. Ukta, are said. Sharirina, of the embodied soul. Anashina, never to be destroyed. Aprameyasya, immeasurable. Tasmat, therefore. Yuddhasva, fight. Bharata, O descendant of Bharata. So the translation is, the material body of the indestructible and immeasurable and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O Arjuna. So what is the previous verse Krishna saying? In the previous verse, Krishna says that no one can destroy the soul. The soul is eternal. It is imperishable. And what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is saying, no one can save the body. The body is sure to come to an end. Isn't it? In the previous verse, he said, no one can destroy the soul. And in this verse, he's saying, no one can protect the body. So in both the cases, from both the angles, from the point of view of the soul or from the body, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you do your duty. Your duty is to fight, you fight. Why? Because anyway, Bhishma and Drona, they are spirit soul, no one can destroy them. And whatever you do, even if you don't fight, you can't save their bodies. They will die. Today or tomorrow, they will die. Right? Therefore, Arjuna, you fight, you continue on your duty. So Krishna is saying the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. So even though we are part and parcel of Krishna, Mamaivamsho Jiva Bhuta, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manastastani Indriyani, Prakriti Stani Karshati. So Krishna says in the Gita, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. We are all spiritual. We are all supposed to be indestructible, eternal. But what are we doing in this world? We have come in this world and taken a body and we are facing death. Even though there is no death for the soul, but the soul is entrapped in a body which dies. Isn't it a paradox and irony that we are in such a pathetic situation, such a pitiable situation. We are supposed to be in the spiritual world in our spiritual bodies, but we are come in this material world and we are experiencing destruction of this body. We are seeing destruction everywhere. Right? Therefore, Krishna is telling here to Arjuna and to all of us that you can't protect the body forever. Idam shariram parinama peshalam patatyavashyam shatasanjarjaram Kimoshadam prichasi mooda durmate niramayam Krishna rasayanam piba. Kulashekar Maharaj in his prayers he explains that this body is sure to be perished. Idam shariram parinama peshalam. What is the destination of this body? Patatyavashyam shatasandhi jarjaram. This body will get disease and it will fall. There is no remedy for protecting this body. You can't protect. There is a story of Walt Disney, the one who made the Disneyland. So very rich person. So when he was about to die, he didn't want to die. Who after all wants to die? So he called all the scientists and he paid the scientists a lot of money. And he told them that do research and find a medicine that can save me, or even if I die, that can bring me back to life. Find that medicine. And he paid them crores and crores of dollars. And the scientists said, we'll find. They took all the money, they went to enjoy. And this Walt Disney died. And what they did, they preserved his body in a nitrogen chamber, thinking that one day we'll find that medicine and give it to this dead body of Walt Disney and he'll come back to life. But it is never possible. Whatever you do, scientists may say so many things that we'll find that thing that will cure death. But no one has found solution to death. This body has to die. Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, whoever the greatest personalities were, all of them have to meet with death. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, you don't get scared of your duty. You continue to fight. We'll see what Srila Prabhupada says in the purport. Yeah. So Prabhupada says that the body is perishable by nature. It may perish now or after 100 years. It is a question of time.
Sir.
It is not the question of, hello? Yeah. It is not the question of whether or not we will die. That is not the question. That option is not given to us only. We are definitely going to die. This body is going to die. The question is only today or tomorrow or after 100 years. The basis of acquiring material bodies, one acquires body according to one's work. So all of us, we perform different works and we acquire different kinds of bodies. So the practical application is observance of religious principles should be utilized to elevate one because one acquires the body according to one's own work. So therefore Krishna is telling Arjuna here that you do your duties. Why? Because anyway the body is going to die, and what body we are going to get next depends on what activities we do now. So what is most important is to focus on doing the right thing. So Srila Prabhupada also explains, here Krishna is saying the soul is indestructible. So the soul is so minute that what to speak of the enemy killing it, the enemy can't even see it. Therefore the soul is indestructible. Just like, there is the story in the life of Socrates. Socrates was a great philosopher and he had knowledge of the Gita, basic understanding that I am not the body, I am spirit soul. And he was convinced of it also, very much convinced. So therefore, when people got together and tried to give poison to Socrates, hemlock poison, very, very deadly poison. So Socrates, while drinking the poison, he said, you all can't even see me. How can you all kill me? Why? Because what we can see is only the body. No one can see the soul. What to speak of destroying the soul? Therefore, the soul is so minute, it cannot be even seen. What to speak of destroying? And the size of the soul is too small, like we already discussed, 1/10,000 the tip of the air. So why is Krishna telling this to Arjuna? Because Arjuna is overcome with lamentation and material compassion. Therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna, the body, the soul of your relatives is eternal, and the body anyway can't be saved. Therefore, you do your duty. So the principle here is the spirit soul is important, not the body. I think this is a saying by Chanakya. He says, don't compromise the permanent for the impermanent, you will be left with none. If we just live our life satisfying the body, what we will gain? Nothing, because the body is anyway going to go and we have not done anything for the soul, isn't it? So what is intelligence? To invest in permanent things, not in temporary things. Things that are anyway going to go, why to invest so much in it, right? So we have to invest in permanent thing. So the body is useful, but what is the purpose of the body? The purpose of the body is so that we can get out of this body and achieve our spiritual state. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. That is the purpose of this body. So until we understand this, we will use this body only for sense gratification. We will not use this body for higher purpose. So this body is a vehicle given by Krishna for a higher purpose. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam shanubangura. Even though this human body is very temporary, it can give us great benefit if we use it properly. So Srila Prabhupada says that what is the worth of this body? As soon as the spirit soul goes out of this body, the body begins to decompose. Smell starts to come. Right? Very, very bad, rotten smell. A week earlier, 10 days earlier, there was one of our known persons who died, and one of our persons whom we knew, his brother died, and we had to help this person in doing the final rites. So we went to the mortuary in GMC, and this body of this person, his brother, was kept for 10-12 days in the mortuary. The body was smelling so much, decomposing. So as soon as the spirit soul goes out of the body, even the most beautiful body will start to decompose, start to rot away. Right? That is the nature of this body. So therefore, what is the point in investing so much for this body? We definitely need to do our part in taking care, but we should not over pamper it. Importance should therefore be given to the spirit soul. Importance should be given to carrying out the will of Krishna. So therefore, Krishna is saying, don't sacrifice your religion for bodily considerations. Don't give up your dharma just for your bodily sense gratification. Don't do that. Get up and fight. So the summary of 17 and 18, Krishna is telling, the soul cannot be killed and the body cannot be saved. Therefore, Arjuna, there is no necessity for running away from the war. Fight. Get up and fight. So you'll find this verse, this sentence coming again and again, especially in the second chapter. Tasmad yuddhasya bharata. O Arjuna, get up and fight. So this section 11 to 30, Krishna is discussing the knowledge of the Gyan. Krishna is saying, Arjuna, get up and fight. We will see in the next section from 31 onwards, Krishna speaks about karma. First is sakam karma, nishkam karma. Through all that, Krishna is saying, get up and fight. After that, Krishna speaks about buddhi yoga, bhakti yoga in the same second chapter. And even through that, Krishna, from that angle also, Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight. Keep going on performing your duties. Don't give up your dharma for temporary inconvenience. Just like Gaurang Prabhu mentions, one time he was traveling in the Bombay street and there was some road repair going on. And there was a board there. The board said, because of the road repair, people couldn't move their vehicles properly. So the board read, temporary inconvenience for permanent convenience. Okay. So for Arjuna, it's temporary inconvenience. He has to fight with his own relatives. But if he carries out the duty, if he performs Krishna consciousness, he will achieve permanent convenience. So this material world is a place where it is inconvenient. You can't adjust in this place. How can you adjust? Something or the other keeps coming. COVID, something or the other keeps happening. So this is a place where there is inconvenience. You can't escape it. Therefore, intelligence is to invest our energies in our spirituality, in taking care of the soul. That is what. So till here, the points that we discussed are soul never changes, material body always changes, and the soul is indestructible. There is no change to the soul, and to the body, there is always change. So, Krishna Prabhupada explains that seers of the truth have concluded. If you all remember verse 16, नाशतो विद्यते भावो नाभावो विद्यते सत Ubayorapi drishtontas twa anyos tattvadarshini. So Krishna says, seers of the truth. That means whether you are a personalist or an impersonalist, a Mayavadi or a Vaishnava, both have one conclusion. One thing everyone agrees to, that the soul never changes and the body always changes. So the following points are addressed in 17, 18, 19. We have still not come, but we'll be going to. Once again. So basically, we saw in 17, the soul pervades the entire body and it is indestructible. The soul is like that sun spreads its rays everywhere. So the consciousness of the soul is everywhere and the soul is indestructible. So the symptom of the soul is consciousness, and the consciousness is limited to one's own body. The third point is the size of the soul is 1/10,000 the tip of the hair. The fourth point is the soul is situated in the region of the heart, and it cannot be ascertained by material means. You can't have like a microscope to see it because it is spiritual in nature. And in text 18, what we saw now, Krishna says the soul is immeasurable. Material body is sure to come to an end. There is no doubt. It is just a matter of time. And as soon as the soul leaves, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, Arjuna, fight. Now in text 19, Krishna is saying, when someone is killed, the body is killed, the soul is eternal, hence cannot be slayed. When someone thinks he has killed or is being killed, is not in knowledge. However, this doesn't encourage killing. We will come to text 19. So we'll read text 19. Ya enam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam uboto no vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. Word to word, yah, anyone who, enam, this, hantaram, the killer, yah, anyone who, cha, also, enam, this, manyate, thinks, hatam, killed, ubao, to, both, to, they, no, never, vijanita, are in knowledge, no, never, ayam, this, hanti, kills, no, nor, hanyate, is killed. The translation is like this: neither he who thinks that the living entity, the slayer, nor he who thinks it is slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. It appears to be a little complicated English, jugglery of words. But what is Krishna saying here is, the soul cannot kill nor be killed. Because the body can be killed, the soul cannot be killed. It's understood. The soul is indestructible. And Krishna is saying here, the soul cannot kill also. So what kills someone is the body of one person killing the other. That means the soul basically does not perform any material activity. So we'll see what Srila Prabhupada says in the purport. Yeah. The living entity is never killed when body is hurt by weapons. So the living entity can never be killed. Why? Because it is eternal. Just like Prabhupada in another place explains in the Bhagavatam. Just imagine if you are dreaming and in your dream you die, or someone comes and kills you in your dream. What happens? Nothing really happens, right? So similarly, the so-called death and problems in this world, pain, pleasures, are all like dreams. Actually, nothing happens on the spirit soul. Or you have this people play this 3D games, or you watch the 3D movies. You wear that spectacle and everything appears very alive for you, right? But why? Because it is just an illusion, optical illusion. It looks like you are entered into the game, but actually you are sitting outside the game, isn't it? So similarly, this material world is such an illusion. It appears that we have entered into this. We have this body, the body is meeting death and everything. but nothing actually happens to the soul. The soul is eternal, it can never be killed. So the soul is too small to be killed by any material weapon, nor is the living entity killable because of spiritual constitution. That means what Krishna is saying here is that the soul basically is pure, and it it has nothing to do with this material world, right? But because it is identifying with this body, this illusion is there, therefore all this karma comes into play. Otherwise, the soul is immortal. But Prabhupada also explains that this verse doesn't mean that one should encourage killing. So, because Krishna is saying here, the soul is never killed, nor can it kill others. So, we can't go and kill others and say, I am not killing you because I cannot kill anyone. The soul cannot kill. No, that's not the idea. The idea is, Srila Prabhupada explains here, Ma himsat sarva bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. Right? It is not to encourage killing. So Arjuna's situation is a special situation because Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight, to kill. For us, no authority is telling us to kill. Therefore, for generally, the instruction is Ma himsa sarva bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. So Arjuna was engaged in killing for a religious principle and not whimsically. So the point here is, what is Krishna trying to tell here? That there is no death for the soul. Therefore, my dear Arjuna, even though apparently it may appear that Bhishma and Drona may die, but know that there is no death for the soul. It is only death for the body, which is anyway going to die. I can do the next verse also, text 20. But before that, anyone has any questions still here? Because the subject matter has been a little technical. Was it okay?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Just for confirmation, I'm not sure because there are many researches going on to find out what happened when a person dies immediately. Like they are trying to find any spirits moving out. There are a lot of videos on YouTube's, Prabhu. Or some of them showing the moving objects. So is that true that they show some kind of waves, or is there spirits which is moving out from the body, or it's some
yeah. When someone dies, the spirit soul moves out, no?
So that the spirit soul has a power that to move the things, like I don't know.
Oh, you are saying, yeah, spirit soul has the power to move things, definitely.
Okay, so and sometimes that it also said that the ghost, he has the power to enter in another body which already has the soul. So is that possible?
Yeah, that is also possible. Because see, already in our body there are so many souls, no? Right? There'll be so many bacteria in our body. There'll be so many other viruses in our body. So all that is also souls only. So many souls are already there in our body. But there is one soul that is the main soul. Just like in a family, father is the main person. And depending on the father, in that same house, there are children, wife, everything. But if that main person goes out of the house, then the others will not stay in the house because they are dependent. So one is the main person, the main soul, other is dependent souls. So there may be many dependent souls, right, already in the body. And so generally the understanding of ghost is this, that when someone commits a very serious crime, something like a suicide or some very wrong activity, then such a person doesn't get a material body again. So what he does is only the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego, in that level only this soul keeps moving around. So this is called, the haunted soul or the spirit, It has no physical body, it has only subtle body. So therefore, for it to enjoy, it tries to enters into another's body and enjoy. Because it is cursed, when you do a wrong act, you have a punishment period. For this particular period, you are not entitled a physical body. You have to just keep wandering like that. So such souls try to enter into another's body also.
Okay,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Thank you.
Anything else? Any other question? Next verse is actually a very important verse, but I think let's do it the next time only. It's an important verse, and Prabhupada has given long purport also. So we'll do justice to this verse the next time. Hmm? Okay. Before we end, few announcements. One is, I think I mentioned last week also, every day in the morning, we are doing our online Zoom Japa session. For those who want to join, you all can please join. It can actually help boost our Japa, because many devotees keep struggling to get up in the morning, you know, keep struggling to get up in the morning and chant their rounds, you know. So this collective Japa can actually help. So we start at 5:45 till 7:15, 7:30. So anyone who wants to join, most welcome. You all can join for that. Another announcement is we have, I mean, there are a lot of classes that we are doing. In Gita classes, my everyday morning I do Bhagavatam class on my Facebook page for half an hour, 8:30 to 9. You all can attend that also. But you know, we have been thinking that a lot of classes have been going on, but the Kirtan experience has been missing. So we thought that every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m., we will do our online Kirtan in our Facebook page. So we have a Facebook page of Panjim called Go Goa Golok. So in that Facebook page, we are going to do this Kirtan session. So those who want, those who feel you all are missing the Kirtan out, you all can join online in this session. Yeah, that's the second announcement. And a third announcement, I was also thinking of starting Krishna book reading. Srila Prabhupada would always encourage devotees to read Krishna book, the pastimes of Krishna, before going to sleep. Because you know, Prabhupada said that, you know, if you read about Krishna before going to sleep, probably in the night you may dream about Krishna. Krishna may come in your dream, you know, and you can also wake up Krishna conscious. So I've been thinking for quite some time. Then I said, okay, let's start. So I was thinking from coming Monday onwards, in the evening, 8:30 to 9, we will do Krishna book reading. So just like in the morning, we'll do Bhagavatam discussion. In the evening, 8:30 to 9, we'll do Krishna book discussion. It'll be very nice, Krishna Leela, directly 10th canto. And it will be my Facebook page. So it will not be a Zoom class, it will be a Facebook class. So even if you all miss it, you all can follow it the next day also. So how many of you all feel it's a good idea, Krishna book reading?
It's a very
It's a
good idea,
wonderful
Prabhuji.
book, sir.
Very good idea, Prabhuji.
Okay.
It's a wonderful book, Prabhuji. I read it, but it's very nice stories are there.
Yeah.
Pastimes.
Very good answer. Pushpa Mataji, the voice is breaking. Yeah, we will send the link. It's going to be in my Facebook page. We will send the link. Yeah. Radhapuri Mataji, you were raising your hand. Any question? Or anything you wanted to say?
No, it's good, Prabhuji. We can listen to.
Correct.
No, Prabhuji. I just appreciated that your effort to start Krishna book reading.
Okay, great. Chalo. I have all your blessings. Good. So we are keeping your days and your weeks very busy with many things, so that there's no space for anything else. Yeah. Thank you very much. So we will continue text 20 from the next week. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.